What is up, everyone, and welcome to Brute Strength Day 51. This training consisted of couch stretch, reverse nordics, dynamic squats with the safety squat bar, good mornings, nordic curls, and neutral grip curls. So, for those of you that have been watching the last couple of weeks, you'll realize that this is basically what I'm doing like every single training now. My training is very similar constantly with small changes throughout, because I believe that is what you have to do. Like when you see people program hopping constantly, it's usually a sign that they're not really in it for the long term, and they're just looking to like do something that they find fun in the moment and not something that will give them actual progress. And you don't want to put in effort because it's easy to just like try something new when something you do stops working. And it shows in the results I get, whether it's in strength or flexibility or in muscle building, where they're just not getting anywhere near the progress that you see me getting here. So for this one here, for one of the sets with the couch stretch, I tried using this step box to basically put myself into more of a stretch. So by having this, it means my hips get a little bit higher. Then let the back leg get a little bit higher than the front leg, so the stretch becomes a little bit deeper instantly. And you can see here I'm actually getting really deep into the stretch here. I'm just trying to push it as much as I can during those 10 seconds like squeezes. And like for me, like this is way worse than doing like a max out set of squats. When I'm doing like a 1 rep max, likely there is a conventional deadlift, it might be physically hard, but it only lasts like 5 seconds, and there's like no pain at all. It's just like difficult strength wise. But compared to that, these stretches, like it's a whole different ball game in terms of the mentality it takes to get through that. And that is also why I start with it at the first thing in my session. It's not only because I'm bad at it, but it's also because it's just extremely hard. And I know that if I want to get it done, I have to get it over with in the beginning when I'm fresh. And especially on days like this where I'm going to be doing speed squats that are not the most fatiguing, it makes sense to do something like a stretch in the beginning. It also gets me very warmed up and locked in. So for the speed squats or dynamic squats today, I'm using the safety squat bar, and basically I'm using the 3-week pendulum where I'm going from 10 sets of 3 with 45 seconds rest at 50% of my max, then 55, and then 60. So a few weeks ago, you saw me doing the 1 rep max with the safety squat bar, and I did like 195 with a rep in the tank. So basically, the dynamic effort work is based upon that. Like, so 50% is obviously 100 kg. So I'm just using the numbers I have from like max effort days to kind of do like exercises on this secondary day with the dynamic effort. And then I think the plan is that over time, then like I'll do like a variation that I can lift more on to get like some kind of increase in overall volume. So even though the like relative intensity stays the same, like it's always in the 50 to 60% range, I'll begin doing using more weight, because if I use something like the back squat, I can maybe squat like 225 as grass. The 50% is obviously going to be 112 and a half. And when I get up to the 60%, it's going to be like like 125 kg, something like that. No, like 135 kg, 137 and a half, something like around that. Um, so it's obviously going to be quite a lot harder in that regard, right? So even though for me, like it's still like as far away from failure in terms of the number of reps I can do, it's still going to be more stress on the body because we know that when we are training with higher weights, like when we get stronger, it takes longer to recover. So that is basically the idea, to add progressive overload that way. I think a lot of people mistakenly think that dynamic effort work is just like easy. It's like recovery, it's like technique work, which it is definitely not. It's actually hard for the central nervous system because you're trying to fire as hard as you can. It's only going to be easy when if you're using that kind of weight and just moving it slowly, not using as much power as you can. When you are moving it as fast as you can, you're trying to basically activate all your muscle fibers to create the most amount of force that you can. You're basically training your body's ability to activate the high threshold motor units, just like you're doing when you're doing training close to failure, when you're doing your 1 rep maxes or your repetition effort, like 5 sets of 5, where the last reps get extremely grindy. That is just going to cause more muscle soreness instead when you're doing like reps close to failure and they become really slow, because you also get the mechanical tension and therefore trains your muscles more, but you're still training the body's ability to activate high threshold motor units. Actually, you're mostly doing that with the max effort method and the dynamic effort method. And I've talked about this before, because doing the dynamic effort method and the max effort method, you're not building up fatigue that limits how much force you can produce. With the max effort method and dynamic effort method, you're constantly able to produce absolute like maximum force. Let's say the most you can lift in a deadlift is 250 kg. So you can load 125 kg on the bar and lift that as fast as you possibly can, and you'll probably produce a force that is bigger than the 250 kg. So and then if you're loading 250 kg and lifting that, you're obviously producing a force of 250 kg if it's moving extremely, extremely slow and you don't have the ability to lift any more weight. But when you're doing the repetition effort method and you're working with, let's say, 125 kg, and you're doing like, or let's say 150 kg, and you're doing like 15 reps, by the time you get, and you're not focusing on moving it fast, you're just focusing on getting the reps done. So you're not lifting like really fast the first 10 reps, because that is not the point of what you're doing. You're just going to try and get as many reps as you can. By the time you get to the 15th rep, though it becomes extremely slow, it's not because you are producing like 250 kg of force. Then you're only producing 150 kg of force. So you're not training your body's ability to produce more force. You're training your body's ability to like get like work through mechanical tension, and you'll more likely just build up the muscle mass instead. I hope it makes a little bit of sense. And if it doesn't, whatever. Then you have just heard me ramble for like 10 fucking minutes. So yeah, you've seen everything I did here. I did 20 reps with 41 kg on the neutral grip curl. Maybe I'll move on to the EZ bar because I think I like that more. Anyways, that is all for this one. Remember to leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with a friend, all that good stuff. And I'll see you all for day 52.